Hi there, Diane Miller here from W Designs for Diane. I am going to try uploading every Friday and doing a little video about what I'm up to and what I've been up to and things like that. This week there'll be two videos. Well, today's Friday. So today's going to be my Friday sews. There's a little Friday sews thing that happens on YouTube. Today's going to be my Friday sews, and it's going to be kind of a wrap up of the previous year. And then I'm going to do a video about what I have planned for next year, because while I was writing all this down, I realized there was way too much to go into one video. So I'm going to do a little video of my wrap up for this year now, and then my plans for next year will be a second video. So I made myself a little list so I don't go off topic. And I'm gonna incorporate this into my videos from now on. My channel is an LGBTQ plus safe space, size inclusive, color and belief inclusive, unless you have bigoted beliefs, and then I'm gonna throw you off because I don't believe in that. And if you make such comments, you'll be blocked. If you don't like it here, just go. I don't have any patience for any kind of thing like that. 2025 was my year of sustainability. I declared that actually before the new year started, and I really like this idea of having a word for the year. So last year was my year of sustainability. Find more ways to be sustainable, both in my business and in my life. And I think I achieved pretty much of what I intended to do, and it became a thing throughout the year. I came out with a video about sustainability, about buying secondhand fabrics, about what fast fashion is doing to our planet. It's not pretty. Also, let me just put in here AI. These facilities that have to support AI are using up the water on our planet. We need that. So just look it up, Google it. It's easy to find. And don't listen to the AI report about AI. Okay, so I learned about and tried upcycling. I used secondhand fabrics whenever I could. I did buy new fabrics too. The taffeta that I use in my business, yeah, bought that new. Couldn't find enough secondhand. If I do find it secondhand, I use it. If I do find it dead stock, I buy it. Also, the linen I use, I buy. And you can argue, but if I find linen secondhand, I also buy that, which I came upon this like huge bunch of linen at a secondhand reuse store that I brought it home, tested it, pure linen. You never know what you're going to find. Let's see. Bought from Restore thrift stores. I put the call out to friends. Send me what you're not using. Let me see if I can use it. If I can't use it, let me see if I can find somebody to use it. I got a bunch of secondhand stuff from my sister, which I parted out to friends, especially the tulle. Went to a company called Design by Night. Friend of mine, Colleen, makes excellent hair pieces, just amazing. She is going to have a shop. She's opening a shop where the Dress Your Dreams used to be at the Renaissance Fair in Pennsylvania. And so it'll be Designs by Night. Stop by there. I donated all the excess to Restores, and first I went through my list of friends. Can you use this? Can you use that? And then donated whatever I had left to Restores. Worked on decluttering my house. I'm moving, so it's kind of a big deal. It has to be done. I'm downsizing. The house that we have now in Cape May and not in Cape May, in Cape May. Couldn't afford that, but I'm about a block from the bay, so I have moved my studio down here for the most part. Still got to move my industrial down. Worked on decluttering my house, passed things on to friends and family, sold some things. I used Facebook Marketplace a lot. You can find fabric on there. I found a big stash of wool on there. So I really, really tried to use that. And let's see. So business-wise in 2025, I worked on diversifying a little bit. If you go to knickknacks, niknax.net, and look up W Designs by Diane, you will find both my jewelry and my fabric-based items on there. The only thing that you won't find on there is my bustles and my skirts, and that's because I can barely keep up with production as it is. So that stuff you'll have to go to my live shows to find. My shows included ZenKaiCon. Did that in, was it the end of March? And then the first weekend of April, I had Telltale Steampunk. It was a very busy year, like in clusters. Things went in clusters. It was crazy. And then I went to Key City Steampunk, and right after I left Key City Steampunk, I went to PatternCon. And if you go to patterncon.com, I will be there again this year, and that's a convention for pattern makers. I'm learning how to make patterns. I'm learning how to make my own patterns. I'm learning how to fit. I'm learning how to do a bunch of different things. And it's all going to come full circle. If I had known that pattern making was a job, somebody would have told me when I was younger, this is what I would have wanted to do. I know this for a fact. I just absolutely love learning about this. I don't want to be the designer. I want somebody to design something, hand it to me, and say, here, make this happen. And that's my problem to fix. That's what I have to do. I have to make that happen. And that's what I want to do. So I want to be able to see something, design something, come up with something, and then, because no designer is going to hire me right now, so I have to come up with my own ideas. I have some ideas for next year's Key City. You're going to have to wait for the next video for that, but I do have some ideas for next year's Key City that I'm going to be working on. So things I made this year, I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing right now. This is my jacket. This is one of the only things I got to make for me this year. I got this great fabric from Joann's, and sometimes you gotta fix things on your own. I did not get as much fabric as I needed. I actually cut this out in the spring, early spring, and then I had to, and then when I went to work on it in the fall, remembered, oh yeah, I didn't have enough fabric for this. So I worked on it. So this is fairly long. It goes down to my knee, and it's great. It's oversized, so I can fit sweaters and hoodies underneath it. And then if you can see here, the lining of the yoke is a different fabric. And the reason that's a different fabric is because I didn't have enough fabric. So it's got lovely top stitching and all that. And it's so my colors. I just love it. So that is that. What else did I do this year? I worked up a new program for new pattern for bags. This is one of my new bags. You can see it's got the folds in here. It's got, I don't really have a name for this. It's got a pocket in there, and it's got a pocket on the back. So, not sustainable fabric. Well, actually, that's not true. This fabric, new, bought new. This fabric, secondhand. All of these bags are made from the sample books that you get from upholstery places. I have an upholstery place that gives me stuff. When they're done with them, when the upholstery books are done, I give some of them to a friend of mine to make cat mats and things. And then I took the smaller pieces that I couldn't use to make a whole bag and combined them so that I could make them by patchwork into other bags. So I did that. Also new for this year, I make these. These are adult clothing protectors, and we use them in steampunk. I kind of developed it for the tea dueling sessions which it works very nice to cover the fabric so that if you drop your biscuit all over yourself, it'll go on here. These are wash and wear. I made the initial ones with fleece on the back, but then I realized those would be kind of hot. And I started having requests for people for their parents that are getting elderly that need to protect their clothing. And so I carry some of them with me to shows now. They're $30 each. And so a nice flannel on the back kind of stays to the clothing. You don't have to tie it or anything. You just put it on. It looks like a scarf. And then when you're done, you take it off, throw it in the washer and the dryer. And then I want to talk a little bit about upcycling. So part of upcycling is using things in new and different ways. So I want to show you, this is one of my aprons, one of my linen aprons, and it's got a tea towel on the center. So you've got a nice linen tea towel on the center. And these are all bought secondhand as well. So you've got your apron, your tea towel. This one's based around wine. And then I have one also here we go. And then I started thinking about ways to, well, okay. What is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. So working through 2 studios, sometimes you forget to cut out something. Like somehow I forgot to cut out, let's turn this the right way, forgot to cut out the longer straps and the tops of the pockets here. So what I did was I had some leftover fabric at home, and it's another way that I can use up excess fabric. So another route to sustainability is to use leftovers in a new way. I can also use leftover fabric for pockets and smaller pieces on my aprons, which I really like to do. It really makes them more interesting. I mean, if you want just a plain color, it's fine, but if you want something a little more interesting, you can add a little color to it. But what started using up fabric for me, and what I was thinking about the beginning of the year and what I've started doing, is I started making these tops, and then we have a tea towel right there in the center, and then used small pieces of leftover fabric. And you see this one. This one has a pocket on the one side. It's got these lovely little flutter sleeves. Fits a variety of sizes. If you're especially small, you might want a special order, something a little bit smaller. But I actually came up with an idea of elasticizing the back here to pull it together in case your shoulders are not as wide, which will make this a lot more inclusive as far as the fitting. It'll go down a lot smaller. And then here's another top I made. Now this is not a tea towel, but I combined a bunch of my Frida Kahlo fabrics and my Day of the Dead fabrics and made another top. And I just absolutely love this. So I'm not, let's put it this way, I'm not going to be heartbroken if it never sells, because I would be more than happy to wear this all day, every day. So that's another thing I got to this year. And I have no idea, whoops, where I put my list. Hold on a second. We'll get there. Here it is. Okay. So, my list. Let's see if there's anything else I want to go over. Tea towel tops. Okay. So overall, that's kind of a wrap up of 2025. I'm really proud of everything that I did achieve. Um, I do want to post more to YouTube. I want to get more content out there for people that need either ideas for sustainability or for um, ideas of where to get things. Need, if you look up restore, craft restores in your area, you will not believe how many of them are popping up. I saw 2 more pop up in the Pennsylvania area over the past year. So if you look up in your area, you might have a restore near you that will be able to fulfill your needs. So I always start there first, and then I shop dead stock if I can't find it. And then if I can't find it and I need it for my business, if I need it for myself, most of the time I'll wait till I find it. If I need it for my business, I will buy because that's the way it is. I'm also proud of myself this year. I taught myself to crochet with a kit. I guess I didn't quite teach myself, but I watched a video that was very slow, very easy to learn from, and I learned how to crochet. Did I finish a crochet project yet? No, I did not. I also am working on some small felt projects that involve embroidery, hand stitching, things like that. I learned sashiko, which is the Japanese art of mending. So, and I actually was able to use that. A friend of mine had a blouse that she bought. She loved it, but it was from a place that the fabric was not the best that was used in this. And so I was able to mend it with a fabric with sashiko stitched in, and it becomes almost like a focal point of things. And that's what I concentrated on this year. So I'm really proud of what I achieved, and I'm more than happy to share resources and things like that. So if you have any questions, please leave it in the notes. If you have any places that you've gone to that have been really good thrifting wise or secondhand wise for fabric and notions, and oh, I did forget to mention about the buttons. So I would say 90% of the buttons that I use on here are secondhand. This one might not be. This might have been, but it's from a shop that's closed now. This one's definitely secondhand. That one's definitely secondhand. But you'd be surprised at the really pretty buttons that you can find secondhand. It's amazing. It's amazing what's out there when you start looking and when you keep your mind open. So I hope everybody had a good start to their 2026. I'm definitely in a better place now than I was at the end of 2025, or at the end of 2024. I had both my knees replaced, one of them for the second time in 2024. So starting 2025 was it was difficult, but I did things. I did things this year. I walked a lot. I am working on strengthening myself and really pushed it this year so that I could get back to being able to do things. I'm still not as fast as I used to be, but you know what? I'm going to be 60 this year. So that's okay. I am happy with where I'm at. So if anybody has any questions about total knees, I am a physical therapist. I do not want to go back to being a physical therapist right now, but I might someday. I don't know. But I think I'm done with that. I think I really want to explore what's possible with sewing and making and being a full-time artist per se. So take care. Have a great year. Set yourself up for success. Think about what you want to attain this year. Thanks. Bye.